Yo, what's going on, guys? Let's go over the build real quick. This is a poison evade build. Real quick, I do want to say we are actually saving 50 paragon points. We are replicating as if we're like paragon 250. I want to do that to get some realism. The only thing that's kind of colluding this would be the 100 glyphs we're using. That's going to be tricky to get. We're not doing pit 100s yet, so it's kind of colluded. However, the gear I'm wearing is kind of all over the place. It's not perfect at all. It's decent enough. My master working's all over the place. My tempering's all over the place. So it could be a lot better, honestly. If you get the right tempers and master working, you could really pop off on this. I think, for example, if you had like more cooldown on this, more evade cooldown, you could just be able to drop this Kerma Sparks modifier here and get another multiplier instead. But as far as the gear goes, real quick, let's go back to that. So we're using a redirected force on our weapon, the two-hander. We're going to temper some furnace on there, as well as some crit strike damage. And then for the boots, I'm using apprehension. We're going to try to get Ravager on there as well. We want to try to get 15 ranks of Ravager, because that gives us an additional stack of ferocity. Let's see here. So barrier gen and then evade cooldown as well for the tempers. We're using duelist for our pants. We have all res healing received. That was a different stat I was trying out. Devour ultimate. Don't think I like it. Ignore the cold res on there too. Barrier gen, all res though, probably need it on the pants because it's going to be tricky to get reses with the shroud we're using. For gloves, we're using Vehement Brawler, barrier gen, and crit strike damage for the tempers. Shroud for the chest, Shaco for the helm. We want to get more cooldown reduction here, but it is what it is. I'm not going to spend hours re-rolling things on PTR, so. Then we're going to be using Lokrin's Talisman here for the amulet. This is for the crit damage. It gives us all res too. 3% all stats is nice. Max resource is good too, actually. And I'll tell you why here in a minute. And this is going to give us each point of primary resource above 100 grants skills 0.2% X crit strike damage. So that's actually very huge. On top of that, we're using a Band of the First Breath, kind of an optional thing here, using it to get the evade damage multiplier after casting evade. Then I'm using Fell Soothsayers here. You could be using something else for bossing. I'll probably do that instead, use like Conceited. We have Casting Ultimate, restores primary resource, and critical strike damage for tempers. The reason why is because we want more resource, and I'll tell you why here. You guys caught me with this weird-ass lucky hit chance to heal on my ring, so let me put that to something else. Do crit strike chance, sure, why not? So basically for the boss powers here now, we're going to be going with Ashava's Poison Breath for the main. This is going to be huge, especially when multiplying with our key passive. We're using Andariel's Flaming Skull, gives us burning enemies take 40% X more damage from our dots, so huge. We're using Kerma's Sparks for modifier to get the evade cooldown. And we're using Avarice's Explosive Ore for the modifier. Activating your main boss power spends all your primary resource to increase its damage by 3.4x% per resource spent. So if you get your resource up there, that's going to be massive, right? You're going to have like potentially like a 800,000 multiplier, depending on how much resource you got there. So very big. That's why we're using that there. As far as the Spirit Hall goes, we're using a Centipede here. We do need to get some Centipede going. And then Jaguar for the ferocity. Then for the abilities, we're going to be taking Accelerated Thunder Spike. This is how we make enemies vulnerable, or actually, it's a good way to make enemies vulnerable. It's not the only way, but we take that there, and then we just insert points into there until we unlock the next tree down here, the third tree. Going to max out Apex, max out Unrestrained. We're going to max out Ravager, actually, as well. We want this to be rank 15. At rank 15, max Ferocity 5, so try to get that to 15. We're using Replenishing on Ravager down here. We're using Auspicious, max that out, and then we're going to be taking Adaptable Armored Hide to get some Thorns going during our Armored Hide. Take Reinforced Counterattack, and then Reinforced Scourge, because we get more Vigor. We do want that. Take Nourishment, max that out. This gives us Poison Damage Multiplier, which is our boss power. And then max out Oppressive down here. We're going to be maxing out Furnace and Potent here, obviously. Let's see, max out Supremacy down here, and then max out Initiative, Spiritual, and Resolution. You want all of these maxed out. I'm missing one in my Hunter. In fact, I might just go like that. There we go. Max out Hunter, get more damage going from it. And then take Exalted, and then we're going to be using Noxious Resonance to get this massive multiplier down here. Crit strikes cause the poisoning on an enemy to burst, dealing 100% of the total poisoning instantly to them. The damage is increased by 30% X of crit strike damage bonus. It's currently at 1,344X, just with no buffs. This can go a lot higher when I have everything active, which I'll show you here in a second too. As far as the Paragon board goes, this needs work as well. I just kind of threw this together real quick. Can use a lot of work actually. I'm just using Bane and Starter. And then we're going to be using Outmatch with Vicious Shield, Spirit with Bitter Medicine, Fitness. This is to get crit strike damage with Drive. Same thing here, crit strike damage. And this gives us a bonus to rare nodes here, which is going to give us the most crit strike bonus. I might swap this out, but that's why we use it, is to buff this actually. Fourth board, Fitness with Drive. And then last board is going to be Hone with Sapping. And I wanted to show you guys real quick too what it looks like when we have our passive fully buffed here. It goes pretty insane. Real quick too, when we're doing pits, I use Jaw Rune over the K rune, K, Q. I use the Bulwark here for bossing, and then Jaw for pits, open world. And then use Bakulum up here. We want Restore Primary Resource for the rune, and the reason why is because we're going to be spending a resource with our modifier down here, so we want to get our resource back ASAP. And then as far as like multipliers go down here, oops, I messed that up already. That's okay. 4.2x is insane. So wait a few seconds here and I'll show you again once I get my cooldowns. Yeah, 4.2x right there is pretty insane. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to comment. This is just a rough guide for now. It's something to get going for T4. Like I said, once you get the right Masterworks and Tempers, you should be able to like push a bit higher. This can do like pit 80s. It's not going to be the fastest, so you can get your lifts up. Probably do a different build for higher pits, but this definitely works for speed T4.